is, let me take you back a little bit. This is a Honda GX, I think it's a 25, GX25, and I needed some parts off it to fix another machine because when I took this one apart, I noticed it had a clutch that had been absolutely destroyed, and I had a couple of other issues I can't think off the top of my head now that needed addressing. Oh, the clutch drum on the shaft was absolutely destroyed as well. Fuel lines, all that needs to be done, but that's not a big issue. However, now that I've taken those parts, well, I took a carburetor off here and put it onto a Makita, which is all completed. I need to get a carburetor back onto this machine, and I've taken this clutch off of another machine, totally different, not Honda at all. It was a Morrison two-stroke actually, but the parts all seem to interchange, and I'm going to use the clutch drum from that machine as well, and we're going to see if we can cobble together a couple of different machines and get this one running. We're halfway through the carb rebuild process, and I thought I'd bring you along. Let's get you a little bit closer. I'm not going to be able to really see comments that quickly, but if anyone is awake and wants to hang out, then that's cool. If not, you can watch this later on catch up. So this carburetor, it's actually a Ruick thing, and it's actually pretty clean. I don't know whether it's going to run, and I'm not even going to set anything else up. I'm going to put the carburetor on. I might even take it. I've glued that on now with the glued thread locked that in place now. So maybe I'll put the I'll put the attachment on, and then we'll just see if it runs. And if it does, and I haven't got any issues, then we can address setting up the throttle uh, shaft and all that onto the machine. So I've had really good luck with these aftermarket carburetor kits. I have, in fact, all of the commercial guys run these kits, and I tell them beforehand, look, I say these are aftermarket, they're much cheaper, but I haven't had a single issue so far, and everyone's really happy with them. So I'm going to continue to run them until I do start to run into issues. I might reuse the metering lever. Yeah, and you can reuse the metering lever in some of those parts. Actually, it's oftentimes better to do so because the aftermarket ones aren't always perfect. Not that it's ever been an issue. It's not changed the way the engine ran, but don't introduce issues that aren't otherwise there. There's a small jet. This is a main jet, actually. Can you see? There's a main jet under here, and this is underneath this main jet. In all of these rotary style carburetors, you'll have a little black um, O-ring, and sometimes if these wear, it can actually let more fuel pass rather than actually be metered by the jet. Here we go. You can see it. Hopefully you can. So we've replaced those as standard. In fact, this is really hard, and it's completely misshapen too. It should be round, so that wouldn't have sealed very well. Can I zoom you in? Oh, look, I can. So we're going to replace that. Ooh, don't drop it. How do I see? Hey, Jeffrey, we've got Jeffrey and BC Country Outdoors. Oh, there's actually 12 people. I didn't expect it to be more than just a couple at this time of day. So for me here in Australia, it's one. Do you want to have a quick look around? This is the. Oh, real quick. I did a video on this a couple of weeks ago. This shoplift has been incredible. I've done quite a few modifications to it. I've got some straps down there since the video. I've also put some tie-down straps on the edge, and I've bracketed them so that they're pulling on the frame rather than the plywood. I've put a stop at the front and a kind of a piece of angled aluminium at the back so I can ride machines on. You can see it's rubs, and it stops the plywood from getting damaged. And then I just drilled holes in it to be able to take the tools, and I've got magnets on the other side, just to kind of make it my own and how I like it. But anyway, we are 26 degrees Celsius. Sorry, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. 28, 27 here in Australia. And it's a lovely day. This is where I'm working. Yeah, it's pretty lovely. So that's where I've taken the clutch off, and that I'm going to use that shaft. And being red, that's kind of nice because the Honda cowling is red-ish. I might spray paint it grey. But that was the Makita that I did up. That I used the Honda carburetor thinking, well, the clutch is gone, the clutch drum is gone. I need to take the throttle cable off of the Honda machine to make that work. So I did all of that, and now I've got that. But actually, I'm going to try and save this with just a bunch of parts that I've got lying around, and I have a lot. It's a pretty big mess in here, but I'll make it work. You might have seen this area on a couple of videos. It's just random stuff that I've got either as parts machines or I'm going to do them in future videos. So we'll put you back there, and let's get this carburetor built, rebuilt. Yeah, as I said, I have a touch wood. I've never had an issue with aftermarket carburetor kits. The other thing that's worth mentioning, though, is that I don't use ethanol. I think apparently there's one station in the whole of Western Australia that actually uses ethanol fuel. Everywhere else is just non-ethanol. So hopefully you can see here. It's fortunate for us, and that main jet's clear. Not that you're going to be able to see it. So that little O-ring, which I probably dropped. You going to see it? It's a little black. I bet you I dropped it, didn't I? Oh, no, it's still in there. A little bit of fuel might help to see that a bit better, but I haven't got any on me. This side, we have to put, you guys might not know this, or might not have come across it. On some carburetors, they can work on 2-stroke and 4-stroke engines, and they have this recess on the fuel pump side, on all of the ones that work on both machines. And that's designed so on 4-stroke engines, a spring goes in there, a special little spring, and that returns the diaphragm after the vacuum phase, because of course it can create a vacuum by drawing air in, but because we've got PCV valve, there is no pressure that we can use in the crankcase that goes out the PCV valve. So we use the return spring to get effective and consistent pressure. Now, I've had it in the past on that Makita, in fact, where it didn't use an impulse. There was no impulse here for the intake. And I've seen a couple of other people find that replacement carburetors don't have them either. But I tried 3 or 4 without setting up an impulse hole on that Makita, and it caused me all sorts of problems. So my recommendation is, if you have a manifold like this, but it doesn't have an impulse drilling, or it's not even an impulse drilling, it's just a recess. If you don't have that recess, then you can literally get a Dremel and gently Dremel it in. And that's what I did on the Makita intake manifold. And the carburetor worked flawlessly. I couldn't be happier. So we'll rebuild this top section first. We'll put the screen in. And these screens, if in doubt, swap them out. Don't just reuse them. And sometimes even with carburetor cleaner, when you think they're clean, they're actually not. And it can be incredibly hard unless you use a hand lens under a good light. You will find it very difficult to tell whether it's partially blocked or not. So just replace them if in doubt. This side, the needle is actually in really good condition. So we're going to reuse the needle, spring, metering lever, and pin. There's nothing wrong with any of these parts. It's going to be a bit hard to show you this on camera. Maybe I could zoom you in. What are you looking at the moment? So I put my hand there next to the fuel tank. Grab the needle and place it in and down. And this way, I gently push that pin in place. I can get it. It's a little bit tricky with the camera under my. There. Hold that down, and now I can put my screw in the hole. I'm going to set the metering lever height on this. Now, Ruixing, which is what Husqvarna uses, they don't actually state metering lever heights. Like I haven't seen a gauge. I think all of their machines are clones, to be fair. All of their carburetors that they make are just clones of Walbro. So I think this is a clone of a WYL. So I'll go and get the WYL gauge, and then we'll test it out. I'll take you in there. I'll show you around a little bit. Actually, it really doesn't look too bad. I'll take you in to the office slash indoor workshop. Bring your glasses. It's actually relatively tidy. So they look like this. I've actually done a video on them, and different gauges have different lettering on them. So WYL is here. This is a metering lever gauge. You can get these online. And so you place the gauge down and you want to push it across and see if you just want to just brush that needle. So that is actually, in my opinion, too high. So we're going to carefully, you can just press down. Gently press down on the tang of the metering lever, and then we can gently push down on the other way. And you can see it's now way, way lower. It's too low. Take the gauge, brush it over, and you can see it's not even touching it. So that's fine. And carefully lift it up. There is a little bit of memory in here, so sometimes you have to go a little bit higher. That's perfect. It's just kissing it. There, see, it's just catching. Yeah, there's memory in these levers, so sometimes you have to, like any piece of metal, you have to bend it a little bit extra, and then it sits where you want it to. So that's setting the metering lever. It's really important to do, and essentially it will. I've just seen a dollar sign on my screen. That must be a super chat. I didn't even set that up at all. That's funny. I wonder if you have to hit a certain amount of subscribers to get that. What it does is it maintains a precise amount of fuel inside here, which is your metering chamber, which is essentially like your float bowl on a typical float bowl style carburetor. And if it's too low, it's going to be too lean, and if it's too high, it's going to be giving the engine too much fuel, and it'll be too rich. And you can't really compensate with the adjustment screws. Everything's very, very um, finicky, I suppose is a good word for it. Hey, William. So that's all done. We are now ready to put our metering diaphragm with the nipple on it. These come in different lengths, so make sure you get the right one. And our metering gasket, which I don't even know if this is the right, no, that's not the right one. We need this one. And this is our metering gasket. So metering gasket goes down first. You put the gasket on the area that you want it to seal, which in this case is the float bowl, metering chamber. And then we place the diaphragm on top. That's good. Put that to one side. We'll do the bottom side now. That's got your main jet and your fuel pump. We need our return spring because it's a 4-stroke engine. So the carburetor, they don't, as I said earlier, they don't all come with them. Put that in place. We now need to put our gasket and diaphragm down. Gasket goes on the raised ridge side. This is focus. There's like a raised ridge all the way around. We need the right gasket. And hold it for you. That goes on like that. And then lastly, of course, our fuel pump diaphragm. And just make sure before you put these diaphragms in, just make sure each one of those little kidney bean flaps, one-way valves, just make sure that they're not bent, damaged, or that they're actually going to seat and seal correctly against the body. So we'll put it this way. A little bit finicky because, of course, the spring wants to be up, right? And then we need our body here. Goes on that way. Can get it on. I don't think you guys can even see here, can you? To line those little pinholes up. And they're at the back there. And then lastly, we've got to put our little purge plate on. So these don't run a primer, they run a purge. And a purge is all it does, it doesn't actually give the engine any fuel, it just takes the air out of the carburetor. Say that again because I might have made a noise. It just takes the air out of the carburetor, purges the air, that's where air purge comes from. And then lastly, we have the little plate that holds everything together. It's always tricky to try and get it in camera and not get my head in camera. Sweet, and that's it. Let me just screw these down very carefully. And finish it off with, oh, that's not that one. Thought I had normal screwdriver. That's the Phillips number one, I think. Yeah, it's the number one. Not ideal. Let's go get the number two. You come with me. Okay. Oh, so questions. Pressure test 7 psi. Yeah, exactly. So you want to pressure test. Once we put it all back together, do the pressure test, but you need to make sure the needle's wet and the gaskets are wet too, because if you don't, they can leak a little bit and it might give you a false reading. So yeah, pressure test it just enough to hold off the fuel pressure. Pop off pressure for what we do is not particularly important, but on outboards especially, the pop off pressure controls mid-range RPM. So we need Phillips number two. Where do you purchase Welsh plugs? Welsh plugs typically come in kits, not all of them. Did mine come in? Did I get any in that kit? I don't think so. I'll show you mine though. We're going to this route. That's the Villiers I did a video on. I need to make a fuel tank, and I haven't quite figured out how I want to. I might even weld that together and see if I can make that work, and then spray it. Or I got an old Briggs tank which I want to cut out, weld some brackets on. I haven't quite got there yet, but we're getting there. Okay, lights on. Yeah. So in this case, this is an RB100. I think I've got 10 kits in there. And as you can see, they actually have Welsh plugs in there. Not all of them do. They don't always have the right ones. But yeah, you can buy those on Amazon, AliExpress, Temu. As I said, in my instance, where I don't have ethanol, they run just as well as OEM. I can't speak for areas where there is 10% ethanol in the fuel. Um, so you have to test it, but yeah, I think they're great. Not everything is like the purge bulbs. I still use those. They're not as good as OEM, but they're absolutely fine, and um, they just might not last quite as long. But for the cost, they're really good. So yeah, I don't know why this carburetor was in the box. I can't quite remember what wasn't quite right with it. So I have no idea if it's going to run. We're going to have to just test it and find out. The main issue that you'll have with these rotary carburetors is either the barrel wears if there's no air filter on it, and the actual top part of the carburetor, where the barrel sits in its little plastic housing, that's not protected by an air filter. And there is a little boot on there, but it can wear, and then that causes the throttle shaft to move, and that gives you an air leak. So what we'll do is we have our impulse hole here. It looks like it lines up fairly well. We need to make a gasket, although actually I'm not sure where it's gone off. We'll make another one. So we'll put a gasket on there. We'll have to pull these forward. And then I'll just put it together without the throttle cable, and I'll just test to make sure it runs. If it runs, great. If we're having any issues, then we'll address that shortly. So let's make a gasket. Let's go inside, and I haven't got any. We'll go and make one. And it's really good to be able to make your own gaskets. There's so many instances that I've come across where I can't get it. They don't come in a carb kit, or I have to wait 2 weeks for one to arrive. And in those instances, I just make my own. It takes a couple of minutes. All you need is a few punches, and job will be done. So let's just make one, and we'll do it real time. What's the least favorite brand of machine to work on? That's such a great question. Least favorite brand to work on. I wouldn't say there's a specific brand that's my least favorite. I would say my least favorite machine to work on is the one that I can't get parts for out here in Australia. They've all got their like good and bad points. Like in America, Echo is like people love Echo and Shindao. Out here, I can't stand them. They're like the machines that I look forward to working on the least because I just can't get the parts for them. So yeah, there's nothing I don't particularly like. I guess my least favorite machine is probably like the Tecumseh four strokes. I don't like them. They've got, or at least the ones that I've worked on, have updraft carburetors, and I find them really annoying. And I don't think that they work particularly well. Not only they get the job done, but they're not like a one of the Briggs classics or anything. So you can buy gasket paper in rolls. But this just so happens to be by a company called Caliber or Calibri. I can't quite see. It's all a bit ripped and torn. Um, I don't know whether that will help. And you probably can't even get it where you are unless you live in Australia, but it makes no difference. There's nothing special about it. It's just what I use. I've used it for a long time and I like it. Um, so we need to cut out a small section, and I'll just do it with the. I've done a video on this before. These little scissors, little gasket scissors. You can use these or just use a standard pair. So you're cutting the outside, and we'll take a little section off. And that's what we'll work from. And we'll take a little piece of paper. In this instance, I can't find the original gasket, so I'll use a piece of paper and I'll show you how I do it. It's really handy. On top, pick yourself a pencil or a dirty thumb and just start scratching. And it might take a minute to do, but it's going to give you the outline of the face of the carby. There's our impulse hole, the outside flange. Keep your thumb in place. Starting to make bring you in a little bit. Starting to make the intake of the carby. And that's the top part. And then we'll do the other hole. But of course, if you've got the gaskets, or you can literally just pop to the shop, but I guarantee I'll have this made quicker than what I could finding the part number, popping to the shop, waiting for it, getting home. Oh, and of course, if your time is like really, really important, um, then yeah, it might be much quicker to just forego repairing this machine, order the part, and then come back to it. But for me, I'm really specific with what repairs I take on, so I have a bit more time. And I charge accordingly too. And then we'll put a little bit of glue, just a small amount. This is Brit stick. I don't know what else it's called in America. Actually, the UK probably are most of the people watching now. So you'll know what Pritt stick is. And then you can place that on top. That's it. And now we make our gaskets. So always start with making the inner holes first. And I think I've done a video on making gaskets and putting the punch kits like in the description if you guys want to grab them. And I spent a lot of money on this kit, this wad punch kit made in England. They're so proud about it, and it's such a load of junk. It's not sharp or anything, but I do link to these, which is one that I made, and I really like these punches. I mean, these are fine, but they're not. They say made in England as if it's something to be proud of, but so, pretty close. It's quite hard to see with you right in the way. You know what I might do? I might just make a little dot as centered as I can. So you punch the first. Yoink. Yeah, people love Echo. Oh, sorry. Love Echo here in America. No joke. I can buy brand new Echo parts from store by taking a 2 minute. Yeah, you see, that's what's important in my opinion. I don't. I mean, I think Still is probably. I'm going to get flamed for this. I think Still is probably slightly better than Husky, and I think Husky's slightly better than Echo. But I think there's a lot of like. There's not a lot in it, and I think a lot of it is preference. But the most important thing is parts. I will take Echo over Still any day if I can get parts for it. So we've got the first hole. Um, And then we have the second holes, which are 5 mil. And then I'll do the impulse hole, which will be down here, which is about 3 mil. And these, I think they're like 10 Australian dollars. And I made this little kit myself, but they go up in, I think it's 0.5 mil. So these outside ones, they look to be an M5. Place that over, give it a bit of a mark. Right enough. Place that one over. Give that a mark, and then the impulse, and then we cut it out and we're done. Again, you can just kind of line it up and make sure that you're a similar diameter. And now we just need to cut it out to fit the carburetor. So as long as we stay away from the mounting face, we're fine. I'll hold it out, just make sure everything aligns, which it does. And I could even just do a bit of a pencil outline on the back, which will allow me to get a bit closer to. This doesn't really matter, but I might as well do it. See, we kind of made a bit of an outline with pencil. Um, and then I'll just get a little bit closer to it. So, and the reason why I say it's worth getting closer is oftentimes you'll find that there are other things in the way that will stop you from being able to get this gasket in place. So it's worth trying to be a little bit close. Doesn't have to give yourself too much room, but that'll be fine. And this piece of paper, it's obviously going to have a bit of glue on it, but it's not the end of the world. You could even just leave it in place if you wanted to, but I'm going to peel it off. And it might take a little bit of gasket paper with it, but at least everything's held down in place. So that peels off. In this case, it was pretty clean. And so that probably took maybe 7 minutes and cost me like maybe a few cents. It fits really well. So let's go put it on the machine, check that we've got some oil in there, and we'll start it up, hopefully. I don't know if this carb's even working, so there's a reason why it's in a bunch of spare parts in my box, but I can't remember that reason. Right, so can you see? And who knows if these fuel lines are any good and there's a whole bunch of stuff in the tank. But really, it's just more of a proof of concept thing at the moment. Can't get the fuel line out. Let's just go and get. Hold tight. I'm gonna go get a little hook. You can still hear me. I should probably have brought you with me. A little hook. Yeah. I won't bother putting the new fuel filter on unless it really is bad until I know that it at least runs, even if it's not great. Yeah, no, we'll put another one on there. I'll leave that fuel line in there for now. Oh, this is stupid. So I'm going to turn you away for a sec. I don't want to get told off by people watching. You shouldn't have a cigarette lighter near the fuel tank. No, you're absolutely right. Stupid. Okay. So I was watching Married with Small Engines a while back, and she was using a limiter cap removal tool to pull out fuel lines, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever. I loved it, the idea, so I did it myself. Well, that fuel line's a bit cracked up there too, but at the moment, for proof of concept, it will be just fine. Right. Now we need fuel filter. Here, and we also need a. Ah, right, you can come with me. Flighty vac. 8500. No, 85. I can't remember what it is. Hold tight. I need to rummage. Okay. Oh, so that's the question. So, oh, Stella, what the hell are you doing up this time? And John, what are you doing? Wait, is it? What is the time? What's the time? I haven't got a clock that works. 12 o'clock. I'm dizzy. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. I just nicked my finger on the utility knife, so gonna just hold a piece of rag on it for a minute. So, put that there, and put that there. This was the gasket. Where's the gasket gone that we made? There. Gasket can go that way. And I'll get the housing, which goes on the top. Electrical tape works well for bleeding fingers. Yes, I have some somewhere. Come up, Stella. How can I invite you up? Well, John, you guys are welcome to come up. So we have that as well. We have our carby. It's a little, and our fuel lines. They're going to go on this side on this design. Which one is fuel? That's out. That's return. I might have to put some new fuel lines on. We will see. Hold tight. I'm going to go get a piece of tape for my finger. And hopefully you guys can still hear me. We'll get a fuel line. We might have to put a new fuel line on. And then we'll go out, I'll take you out and we'll go and test it and we'll see if it does work. Thanks, BC Outdoors. They don't have a part number to rebuilding a Ruixin carburetor. I think, well, the kit that I've used in this case is a well, to be honest, there's different Ruixin carburetors, but WYL, um, WYL is the carburetor. So it's a K20WAT. I'll go and check it for you. I'll go and check. We'll just put a little bit of fuel in here. And you just buy it online. So we'll just get a little bit of fuel in there to wet the needle and the gaskets, and then we can just do a quick pressure test. Don't know if that's actually going to fit, is it? So we are, I like to go to about 7 psi. That's holding. And then if you push the purge, you should see it come back down, which it does. Obviously not the greatest without good fuel. And then you can put hose on the other end. You can pump it up and the needle should rise. And then it should hold and not leak back down, which would indicate that that valve's failing. So yeah, everything on that is good. It's just whether I can reach these horrible old fuel lines across. Oh, so which way is going out? That way. And I'll replace the fuel. You're gonna have to do it sooner rather than later. Yeah, I'm gonna leave. Okay, so that's on. Fuel filter needs to go on. I don't like that fuel line at all, but I want to make sure it does run. So, see if I cut myself again. Fuel filter on. That tank looks really dirty. Let me just give that a slosh out. And then we'll just see if it runs here. And if it does, great. We can carry on. If it doesn't, then we'll have to do something elsewhere. Some space. Make use of these little holes that I've put in the table to hold the tools. Now, do not let me, whatever you do, start this machine without the shaft on or taking that clutch out. In fact, that's a video I'm going to do. Oh my goodness, I've nearly copped clutch in the face twice. I'm embarrassed to admit. And actually, so we don't dirty the filter. Yeah, be really careful starting. And it's so tempting, you don't think about it. You just think, oh, we'll start the machine. Or just reading your comments. So, how do I get people up here? John or Stella? You probably don't want to. You're probably ready for bed. Put the fuel filter on. Hey, go back down. Oh, that's... There you go. I might even replace that fuel filter one more time after I've test ran it for a while. Let's just see if it will suck fuel up. That is not going to be easy to get it to return, but that doesn't matter too much for now. Yeah. So it's filling the bulb up completely, which is obviously an excellent sign. That means that we haven't got any leaks, although we tested it already with the Mighty Vac. And I just need to put the shaft on before we go any further. Otherwise, it is really dangerous. Again, let's do a bit of clearing up. It's not a huge amount of fuel in there. That's our PCV valve. Let's try and get this cover on. I need to go and get an 8mm out of, and to stop the engine, we will just choke it. But the question is, am I going to be able to get this on with those fuel lines in place? Maybe. I might just compress slightly. Okay. What happened to my little 8mm? There's one. And we'll go and get one more. It's an M6. That's on. And I'll just go and you can come with me for the ride. On a ride. Which is just the fuel line. Yeah, absolutely. Both of them really need going, but the fact that I pulled a vacuum and the fuel didn't have any bubbles in it, I'll stick with it like that for now. But I'm going to have to change all of those. So we need, what did I come in for? What did I come in for? Oh man, I do this a lot. What did I come in for? Oh, an 8mm nut. Light on. Not 8mm. M6, but a number. 8 socket fits in. 8mm socket. Like that, maybe? No. Sometimes I keep the most useful ones. Oh yeah, rotary carburetor. You wanted to know what I use. So for the WYLs, like the one I'm working on, it's K20WYJ. K20WYJ. And that seems to fit all a whole bunch of different carburetors, not just the WYJ, WYLs. Do you reckon that will fit? Don't think it's going to fit, but we'll try it anyway. I'd like to know what happened to the other one. Oh. All right, I'm going to have to do if it fits. It's not going to fit. Doesn't look right to me, but we're just going to test it. Yeah, it should be on the floor somewhere. It should be down there. Oh, goodness, I'm dropping everything. No. So back onto the bench. This is the bench for those that don't know, that didn't catch the video. This is the bench that I did a review on and did a lot of modifications to it, but did a review on it. Oh, this isn't going to fit, I don't think. Way too big, doesn't it? Nope. Will that work? No, that looks like an M5. That'll work. That'll work for now. Now, of course, plonker, absolute plonker, didn't bring the spanners, sockets. So, we'll go with this. We'll go with this. Go with that. This is what really sucks about not having a nice workshop where I can just have everything in one place. And oftentimes I'd just be working indoors anyway, but yeah, it would be nice one day. Okay. We're probably putting a whole bunch of pressure on our old fuel lines, but we'll just see if it actually even. I have no idea, and it's certainly not tuned. So your guess is as good as mine as if it's going to work or not. Okay. I'm tempted to just take those off, to be completely honest with you. Oh, no. Oh, I forgot to mention, I forgot to write on this thing that I took the fuel tank. This was missing so many parts. Anyway, let's take that, again, you shouldn't do it this way, but I am. Let's take the clutch off. Yeah, I put a lot of Loctite on there. I didn't want them coming off. Yeah, we'll put that back on after. Put to one side. So, making sure nothing can fling off and hit me. That's on. That's on. We'll put the soak on to turn it off. Have we got some oil in there? Oh, goodness me. Yeah, overfilled. Someone overfilled this. Okay. Make a bit of space. I'll lower down the bench to start it. That's pretty good. It's spilt out most of what it shouldn't have in there. Yeah, I've got no idea on the tune. This isn't a carburetor designed for this machine, so I don't even know if it's got spark. We're about to find out. Right, where are you guys? Let me just see if anyone said anything before I do it that I've forgotten. Hey Tom, have you ever balanced a domestic chipper rotor? No, I haven't. Sharpened the blades, but I've never balanced the rotor. Yeah, I know, Stella. I was thinking exactly that doing a Kenny, unfortunately. Right, just making sure that no one said anything. Just want to make sure nothing's going to fly off and hit me. So let's see what happens. Throttle maybe. Oh, that should have certainly kicked by now. Let's give it a little drink. In fact, let's just see if it will take off a little bit of a drink. It doesn't. It's probably a spark issue. So full throttle, choke off. That kicked. Yeah, and that was a lot of smoke, wasn't it? But it has been sat. Oh, you know what it? Hmm. At least we know got spark. We've got compression. Have no idea about valves timing, whether that's been adjusted. Yeah, so it's fuel system. It's not pulling up through the intake, which is interesting. So let's try giving a little bit more fuel. Although actually at full throttle, it should have already kicked. Throttle open. do know that the idle speed is too low. I've got a Pac-Man screw. Yeah, lovely. That's great. That could be works. I need to open up the idle. That's kind of funny because that was never designed for this machine. Um, we do need to put new fuel lines on it. We do need to set up the linkage, the coil. So there's a fair bit more to do, but yeah, we've got a whole bunch of different parts that weren't on it. Not that they were bad parts, but yeah. Go back and watch this video on complete noise cancellation, no engine. Oh, really? No tool sounds. Your voice comes through clear. Hey, let's try this, guys. Just really quickly while I've got you all on. Let's get the microphone out because at the moment I'm talking to you through headphones. So let's just see if it's any different with my lavalier mic. Thanks, Stella. I really appreciate that. Well, all in all, so far, so good. And it does sound really nice. There's no clacking or knocking or strange noises. So let's hop you over to the lavalier. Hey, wake up. I have no idea if it'll even work on YouTube. Hope I should do. It's only a microphone. Right, Stella, and anyone else, if you can just give me some feedback. I'm about to plug you in. Phone out. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Your finger looks perilously close to that file. Thanks, Stella. Yeah, it really needs a well, it's all. It's not safe. It's not you should do. Don't do it. Don't do it. Leave it as it is. Always put the machine back together. I have about 3 times I've come close to really bad injuries, and I'm not embarrassed to admit it because if I can share it and it helps someone else, then great. And that's why when you watch my content, you'll never see something that I deem as unsafe. Actually, other people might deem as unsafe and have in the past. But I try to be as safe and as sensible as possible. And this is not a good idea. You do need the cowling on and everything. But the clutch, I've started these machines in the past. Something went flying there. I started these machines in the past and with the clutch on without the clutch drum in place because it was a more manageable package to move around and the clutch goes flying and it's incredibly dangerous. So yeah, don't really do this. It's much better to have it all together. But I think I'm going to get a cup of tea. I'm going to have to redo the fuel lines. We're going to have to put a new tank vent on here. We're going to have to put another shaft from another machine, which is down there, on here. And then I'm going to have to figure out the wiring. If I haven't got the right amount of wires, I will wire one side to ground, which this one is already grounded through the coil. So we've got the hot primary. And then we just, I presume, there will only be one wire that goes to ground in that case. Where is the power? Oh, it's over there. It is, yes. So in this style, you will only have one cable that goes back to the coil. The other one goes to ground. So it's all a bit of a mess, to be honest. But I like this. I kind of like the challenge. But what I will say, and I'll be completely honest, I really feel like I want to have a new challenge in terms of, I don't want to work on these small machines really. I want to work on something bigger and a little bit more complex, but haven't got the space at the moment. Let's see if there's any questions. If not, we'll call it a day. Kenny, it's so cool that you guys are all on here at this crazy time. I didn't think anyone would be here. So, what do you think of Vevor tools and brand? Vevor have sent me a number of tools to test, and they have been so great to work with because I tell them, you can send it to me. I'd really appreciate it. It's gonna, it's great, but I will be completely honest. If I don't like something, I will say it. And they've always said, we just want your honest opinion. And that's one of the things I love about Vevor, and I'll never produce a review of product if they will not allow me to say what I want to say. And I will say, and I'm happy to say it, a company reached out and said, do you want to review our pressure washer? And I thought, it's kind of cool. Like, this is a retractable pressure washer, so I can literally just pull the hose in and out. It's really a lovely concept. And they sent me terms and conditions, and Stella, the lawnmower lady, I sent the terms and conditions through to her. We went through it kind of together, and then we went through it separately as well. And there was a few things that were like real big red flags. And initially I was like, I think they're going to be fine to work with. And she gave me some great advice, and she said, the long and short of it is, I wasn't happy with some of the things that they said, and I voiced it to them. And they're like, no, it's fine, you'll be fine. We're just saying it to be safe. And it's like, no, if it's not in the contract, I'm not going to do it. So in answer to your question, I think Vevor tools are fantastic. For the value that you pay, or the money that you pay, you get really good value. I have used their induction heater. I've done a video on that. It has been absolutely indispensable. I've got their mini metal lathe, which I'm about to release a video on this, a 1-year review. This tool has been, maybe besides my TIG welder, this tool has been the most fantastic addition to my workshop. I have made so many parts with it that I couldn't get, or I wasn't able to, if I have to bring it abroad or whatever. These are some old piston rings that came out of the Villiers here, and I machined a new set and put them in. Non-return valves for the Villiers, I've made that on the lathe. Nuts, bolts, washers, I've machined things flat. So in answer to your question, Villiers, in answer to your question, how do we turn this around? Oh, that's terrible, isn't it? What ugly view. In answer to your question, Vevor, fantastic company to work with. They produce equipment for the home hobbyist that is the same as what you'd probably buy at Harbour Freight, but you'll pay a lot less. In terms of their after sales service, I've only dealt with them through as a creator, so it is different. I can speak to someone directly and they'll message me back right away. I've never bought products from them and actually had to then follow up. And of all the machines that I've had, never had a problem with them. The lathe did take a bit of time. Ken Swanning has really helped me with that. Another guy, Damien, really helped me with it. But it's all on my channel, and you can go and follow the things that I did and change to make that lathe incredibly accurate. It's ridiculous. So yes, I think their tools are excellent, and I think their slogan is like something half price. Excellent tools at half price, and that's what it is. It's the same quality that you'll buy from Harbour Freight, which is not obviously top end. It's homeowner stuff, but you'll pay so much less. So I really do. I think they're a great brand. Ah, magazine rack. I'm going to make a cup of coffee now, actually. I know. So this Pender lift. So I love Bruce, and I would watch Bruce's content. Not a huge amount, but he's just old school. You know what you're going to get when you watch Bruce's content. You're going to get some great knowledge. It's going to be like you're watching your old man, and you're just sitting there with him. And Kenny or someone else, Stella, I think initially said to me, oh, that's a Pender lift, or something along those lines. And I said, oh, no, it was to Kenny. No, this isn't a Pender brand. This is a Vevor brand. This is probably just a knockoff of one of those better machines. And then I remembered in the past that Stella said Pender lift. Anyway, the long and short of it is, so a Pender lift is a lift that Bruce Pender started using, correct me if I'm wrong, started using, and someone coined it the Pender lift. It's a lift platform with a piece of wood on it, and so it's such a great idea. I love it. So thanks to Bruce for bringing that out and kind of bring it to us. Where quality is just a noun. Vevor makes affordable. Some are good, some are not so much. Read the reviews. Yeah, what I will say is it's tough with the reviews because I'm not 100% convinced that all of the reviews that are on their website, I think that they're picking the best ones. I don't think that but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. But long and short of it is, Amazon is a safe place to look at reviews for the Vevor tools. But as I said, hand on heart, they have been fantastic. They've been so good. Yeah, you can't fight the price. You cannot. I got that welder that they sent me, $400 welder. out here you'd be looking at about $1,000 for that capability, for the 3-in-1, for the things that come with it. It is really great. Highly recommend it. You guys are so funny, you're still up. Hello from the UK. Did you pressure vac test? Are you talking about the carb? No, I didn't pressure. Oh, I did pressure the. Yeah, we did test the carby. The engine's a 4-stroke, so of course there's no need to do a pressure and vacuum test on it. Did I pressure and vacuum test the fuel lines? No, we're going to replace those fuel lines. But we'll head back out there in a sec. Let me just get a cup of coffee on the go, and then we'll go back out there. I'd really like you guys to come up live. I'm sure that there's a way to bring at least one of you up, because it's really hard. So we'll get. I'll probably rewire this actually. Stella was a terrible influence, the lawnmower lady, making me spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a wire crimping kit. But no, it's a great tool. But I might rewire it because all those wires are all really brittle. Yeah, that'd be awesome, Kenny. I'd love that. Like that lathe, few tweaks. Yeah, exactly. So I tested it yesterday. Every 6 months, or no, probably every 3 months. Look at this cut. Oh, it's not very clear. Every 3 months, I will put a piece of stock in there, leave it about 2 or 3 inches out, because I know the tailstock's never perfectly right, and I haven't got the little bar to align it all. But and then I'll do a few passes, a skim pass, and then I'll measure it, like run out, and it's literally perfect. And it might be, so let's say that one end is 10.000 millimeters, the other end will be 10.000 millimeters, and then somewhere in between, if you work your way slowly along, it might be a couple of microns up, a couple of microns down. It's not cutting a taper anywhere. I think it's just that they haven't got tapered roller bearings in them. It's just a normal ball bearing on the inside the headstock holding the spindle. And I think if you've got is it the tapered roller bearings that you use on like axles and stuff, which you can then put a bit of preload on to take the slack out. That's what they really need. But for anything that we're going to do, I've held such tight tolerances on that lathe, and it's just a little mini lathe. There's nothing special about it. Like you pay $500 and you can start making all these different parts. As I said, I made piston rings, even silly little things like when I make caps for the silicon tubes. Yeah, I'll make caps for a silicon tube, and it's great. It's just so good to be able to do it. That's it. Timken tapered roller bearings. That's it. No, this is just on YouTube. I don't know how to use StreamYard, but I thought it's kind of cool. Like, hit 50,000 yesterday, and I thought I'll come on live and see if anyone wants to watch. I thought there might be 2 or 3 people, and then I think we had up to 30 at one point. That's good. And come to think of it, I probably won't save this video. Right, let's go outside and we'll start putting it together, and we'll have to take a few parts off. I think you need StreamYard to bring... No, I thought you could go live with different people on here. Maybe not. Restream. What does that say? Highlight 1 minute of this video needs to start. No. Oh, so you can't. Yeah, only tool on YouTube. I don't know how to get you up. That's just really frustrating. No, that's fine. That's okay. Let's go outside and start fixing. Yeah, it'd be really cool to, for those that don't know, and I'm sure most of you do, Kenny from Ken Small Engines, who's up here now, runs a stream every Saturday, and I can't make it. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning here in Australia. It starts at 3 and it finishes at like 5 or something crazy. But go check that stream out. Really good bunch of people. So let's put you up. So we'll just make a little bit of space and then figure out, we'll get some new fuel lines on there first. That's our major issue at the moment, is those old fuel lines. and flip. And then take you back slightly. There we go. So, make some space. Right, don't need mighty back anymore. That can come in. You know what? Let's put that to one side for now, and let's see what comes on. This is actually going to also have to come off. The carb is going to have to come back off because we need to put a new bracket on to hold the throttle cable. Yeah, let me just make a bit of space so I can actually breathe. It'd be cool if I could prop you on my chest and you can just kind of get my perspective for a bit while I clear up, but that's not going to work. Nope, that'll fit in there. Nope, just a little bit too. Oh, look at that. Yes. Yeah, so I made all these little modifications to this table and it's so good. I love it. My knockoff Pendolift. Well, I guess it's not technically a knockoff. It's just a Pendolift. But no, absolutely love it, and I used it on every repair. It's really great. So fuel lines, we are going to, I'm not by the camera at the moment, but hopefully you can still hear me. We'll go and put some Tygon on, and we're going to use the smaller of the Tygon. I'll bring it out. Tygon. And we'll connect. You guys still there? Does he swallow the mic? Looking for? Is it Kenny? Is it not clear? Is it not a nice noise? So I've got the mic on at the moment. Testing 1, 2, 3. I've got the mic on at the moment. So we know the engine runs. We need to put new fuel lines on it. Why is it giving out so much oil? I think it's overfilled. Right, let's take this carb off and we'll put some new fuel lines on. A bit concerned about that oil. Right, proof of concept is done, is good, and we know it runs without making too much racket, so that can come back off. Why are you spitting out? We'll probably adjust the valves too, but let's give ourselves some new fuel lines first. And I will, how soft is that grommet? It's not terrible. Let's pop the grommet out. Those need to be in there. Can you see? Yeah, this is a Honda GX. Go back to the earbuds. Okay. This is a Honda GX25. Okay, back in the earbuds now. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. It'd be lovely if I just had all my stuff and all my space in one area. I didn't have to go back and forth. And sometimes I'll do machines in here. But if I want to get the camera in, it's so much easier to do it outside. One day. Right, and we need some two-stroke oil. We can slide things on easily. You hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Yes, much better. Ah, awesome. Yeah, whippersnipper. That's it, Kenny. But there was a whole bunch of things like the clutch was completely hammered and wrecked. And I had a look inside my storage compartment area, and I found a two-stroke whippersnipper by Morrison's, and they had exactly the same clutch, and it was like excellent condition. The other one was really worn down, and the problem is the clutch bell on the one that comes with the Honda, wherever that is. I can't remember where that's gone now. That sits on here. That's completely. Oh, it's down over there. Absolutely hammered. So yeah, so we kind of modified it slightly. So fuel lines. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pull this out. Hopefully it doesn't break on me. I have got some spares, but good. It comes off. Comes off. Bin. Okay. And we'll put some new Tygon on. So we are. I need my little side cutters rather than this knife, to be honest. Let's go get them. I got a new set actually, so I basically wrecked my other ones. Come with me. You don't have to sit there. You guys can come and hang out. So I got myself some fancy Milwaukee ones, and the irony is that these are so much cheaper than the other ones that I had, and to replace them with the other ones I had, it was like twice the price. So I got these Milwaukee ones, and sometimes people say, "Oh, how come you chose Milwaukee? Why did you?" Because I like the color red. That's the only reason I went with Milwaukee. I like the color red. It's funny. Okay. Yeah. A little bit of two-stroke oil in the holes and on the outside, so it goes in nicely. We've got to find a tank cap, a tank seal, tank seal, tank cap seal. And then again, I'll just cut a taper on it. I can go in here too. And then we'll just take that off so it's square and square. Now, carb is going to go on like that. So fuel line there. So that's fuel line and return. Oh, wait, wrong way. Fuel line. Is that going to be enough? Yeah, perfect. So I don't tend to really use these clips that come on them, but we will because they're there. I normally just put the thing on and call it good. Doesn't even grab where it needs to grab. Oh well, fine. So that goes in, and then we've got return. Let me just double check. Oh, that's return. My head in the way. And fuel line. Nice. Look at that. I don't particularly like how they sit, but it is what it is. And that goes. Oh, sugar. That goes. Back. Yeah, a little bit of fuel goes. A little bit of two-stroke oil goes a real long way when it comes to Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there's no seal in there. Right, that's good. That's done. The carby, we still need to swap that out. So on these carburetors, you guys still with me? Live as crap. Oh, thanks, Jeff. It's kind of you. Yeah, that'd be great, Kenny. Live is crap. Oh, great. Thanks very much. That's very kind of you. Right. Now, on the top of these, you guys can come in with me again. We'll go to my carb stash. Actually, how how is it how? This is where the carbies come from. No, it wasn't it. Maybe a bit of an issue, I think. Um, let's go into the carb stash. Yeah, one at a time. Well, maybe Kenny, you could help me out with the live at some point. So, yeah, you see this little plate? That's what we need in here, but I don't want to take that one off because that's a good one. Hook you up. So, I haven't got very many. I've got a few. Yeah, no, not that one. Actually, that one will work. I think. Right, let's take it as a maybe. We need a little metal plate here. That. No, we just need the screws, not those. You guys have like a little box of carbies like this, like that. Actually, the screws are going to already be on the carb. Okay, let's go. Let's see if this works. I'm pretty sure we need two screws, but I could be wrong. Always makes me wonder if they really hold the gas line to the filter. Yeah, that's what I found, mate. They just never seem very tight, do they? Anyway, it's all good. My slight concern with this, yeah, no, so that's not going to work. My slight concern is valid. So that's actually completely wrong. Makes sense. Right. Let's see what we can find. Yeah, I don't tend to use them. And if the fuel line is too big for the filter, I just push it up to the next step. So that's not going to work for us, which is weird because that's the same as that. Why is that not working? I think it's a totally different design. Well, look. Yeah, you see, I need one that's coming out this side. I know, don't they? Yeah. Sometimes they're the wrong way. So yeah, it's like this whole thing is set up the wrong way. Although it might be better. Yeah. Maybe we're gonna have to think outside the box on this one. There, that one. I think actually this one's gonna work better. Let me just take it out here. And just pop it off. Yeah, I do too, Kenny, but the problem I find is there's so many different variations of these um, barrels that unless you've got exactly the same model, they never really fit. And I don't often have exactly the same models. So the one that's going on is a WY WYL, and for example, this barrel, a totally different size. Just came upstairs from some small. Oh, awesome! Right, that goes in there. Actually, you know what? No, that's fine. Let's see if this works. Let's go try this out. Undo retouch. That says retouch. Ooh. Oh, it makes your skin smooth. No, I'm not having any of that nonsense on here. Nothing the camera can do can make me look beautiful. So this, you see, it's not. I'm gonna have to. No, that won't work either. It's not designed for it. So the problem I'm running into is a way to be able to put tension. I've got to stop in the way. I could always cut that off. Don't know how it would do. I don't like the idea of that, to be honest. I need to find. See, this style of carburetor has the backside of the like manifold here on this WYL style actually holds the throttle cable, whereas on the Honda, it wants the. There's the Honda carburetor. So, what are you using? Oh, it's a totally different shape and everything. Yeah, I haven't got anything like that. I might have. There we go. I might have to machine something on the lathe. Z bend. Yeah, but there's nothing holding the cable from moving back and forth, like the housing. So you see, that's just a totally different setup, and you can't just take that. That's what I need. That's perfect, absolutely perfect. But it's a totally different design. I can't just take that off. I could buy an aftermarket carburetor, but and use the part from it. Yes, you see, look at this. Okay, this might work. So this is another carburetor I've got, and if I take this throttle plate off, this is exactly what we need. This part here. So let's do that. Let's pinch it from this carby. I wrote on the bag that it's not working properly anyway, so I don't feel too bad pinching it. And I need that part too. Let's do that here. I think they're probably number one. Oh, no, I can get another turn there. Let's see if we can get this to work. Are the cowls chromed? Oh look, I can make you a moderator. You can manage. Oh, Kenny, I can make you a moderator too. Although I still don't think it helps. Still don't think it helps. Um, with you guys coming out. Yeah, so I think we can, and I might even take this screw and we'll put it in on the other one, which is currently a silly Pac-Man. I don't want a Pac-Man screw on there, so take that off. Take this off. This one should, now this should work. Fingers crossed. Even if it's going to be a bit of an angle. All right. Is the deck on that chrome blue wrench? Oh boy. Oh, Leah, the moderator. Moderator status. This, hopefully, is what we need. Let's go and get the the special screwdriver so we can take this one. That off. Right, let's go. Yeah, it's such a shame that I can't figure out how to get at least someone else up here. Can anyone do a quick Google and see how I can get at least one person up? If that's possible. That'd be really cool. Okay, let's see if this works. So that one doesn't work. That one goes over there. This one. Yeah, I think it's gonna work. Perfect. Firstly, let's get rid of this silly Pac-Man screwdriver. Why aren't you fitting? Got it. Yeah, when you go out and you tune the engine, I don't want to take all these different screws out. So, and these are all just looks to me to be looks like an M3. It is an M3. So I think this should technically fit. Yeah, it does. So now I can adjust it with a Phillips. Otherwise, I would have had to have three screwdrivers. A tiny little like eyeglass screwdriver. I would have had to have had a. Actually, no, I don't think it would have made any difference. You'd just have to have that instead of a whatever. Okay, this comes off. You guys want to come a bit closer? Chrome handlebars. Chrome handlebars. Get that down. So we'll take this whole throttle plate out. We'll put the new piece in. So those go to one side. And before we do, let's just take this whole body out because we need to install the new part. Yeah, sorry, guys. Well, you can't be too bothered, otherwise there wouldn't be 24 of you here. So this is the frustrating thing about not having a nice space that I can just. Actually, you know what? Let's bring the car part in, and we can do it in there. Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes sense, Stella. Sorry, I'm trying to. Is this for a customer, Tom? At the moment, it's for nothing. At the moment, it's literally just for my pleasure. If I can get it to run reliably and it's really good, then great, I will sell it. But it's not for someone that dropped a machine off or anything like that. It's just one that I got given by someone, and that wasn't even the right one. What did I do with it? Plonker, absolute plonker. That's not even it, is it? Was that the one? Yeah, maybe it was. No, it wasn't. Right. What happened to that? Did you guys see that? Did you see what happened to that piece that I just put down? It's not that one. Oh, it's still out there. Oh, yeah. That's not what we're doing, are we? We've got to take. So on the back of here, you've got a circlip, and they're really difficult to take off. They're a real nuisance. They just seem to be excessively tight. But anyway. Oh, look at these. I went to the still shop. The local still shop play my videos. And he gave me a bag of stickers, two bags of stickers. So under here. Bye, guys. Yeah. And you'd think, oh, it's only a circlip, but I've tried to take them off in the past, and they just seem to be really tight, finicky to get. There we go. Oh, that was easy. That was lovely. Yeah. So then this little piece comes out, and there's a little plastic grommet on the backside. Some pliers on it. Hmm. The little plastic washer it is there, and then we need to push this part out, and then we can put it on. Oh, so this is another thing that I came across last time. Can you see the hole difference here? From memory, this is a 4.5 or a 5, so we'll just quickly drill that out as well. We'll see what it is. And you think, well, why don't you just throw this one on there? Well, this one, is this a straight swap? No. Actually, this one is a straight swap, but I do remember reading on my bag that this one had a problem, and it could be that that area is leaking. So I'll just drill that out to the same size, and that works fine. Yeah, I had written on the bag here, sucking air and runs badly. So that's so funny, Kenny. I can't use this finger or this finger. I've cut when I used to do wood carving. I cut them up so bad a couple of times that I can no longer feel much. So I never use them. I always use my middle fingers. I think I tried a 4.5 and it was a bit tight, so I went to a yeah. So let's do a let's do a 5. Drill this out, and then they do fit. They fit really nice. But what I have found is this little plastic washer can sometimes make them a bit tight. So yeah, like that. So now I can put this in like that. 4 hours till dinner time. Yes, mate. 3, 4, 5. Yes, exactly. I got to go take Muzz out soon as well. Yeah. So from memory, oh, actually, this one might be okay. This little plastic piece. Yeah, I really struggle. I have no. Well, I do use it. I just got no sensitivity. Oh no, Duchess. Why, Ken? Oh, is there still a lot of people watching? Still 26. If no one was watching, I'd say let's go on the WhatsApp and we'll do a video call together. There's lots of people still here. There we go. And then the circlip, which actually does have an orientation, goes back on. Maybe it was putting it on that was tricky. Oh, cool. Okay, nice. Thought I'd lost it then. There we go. Oh, that's not good. Got a part of the boot under here, so I'm gonna have to take it out. See that? There we go. Okay, we got it. Right, put it back on, and we can put it back together. This is the thing, right? If if I lived in the US, I would not be spending this much time on a part like this. I simply wouldn't do it because it's not worth it. However, I don't have the luxury that you guys do in the US with parts. You can literally just order a part on Amazon, it comes the next day. That doesn't happen here. So, yeah, we've got to make do with what we can, and that's why we have to do things like this, or I do things like this. So we've put the new part on there. And before we put it back together, how does this? The other part's outside. We'll go put it back together. Okay. Yeah, I'd much rather not have to do any of this. But one really cool thing, I've got a few friends. One of them's a heavy duty diesel mechanic. He's such a lovely guy, love him to bits. And he said to me the other day, about 3 weeks ago, actually, he said, "Tom, I want to try and get a nut off a harmonic balancer for a Honda something or other for his mate, and you have to get a special socket, and he couldn't get that socket. Like it would take weeks to arrive. Blah blah blah." And he said, "Tom, I come to you because you're really handy at thinking outside the box." And I thought that's kind of cool. And I actually gave him an idea, and it worked perfect. I told him just to put weld around a 19 mil socket to add the extra mass on, and it was great. And then someone else said something shortly after. And then even Stella, I think Stella, you said yesterday, you said, "Well, Tom, I'm going to ask you because you're normally quite good at these sorts of things." I was, that's hilarious. Right, so that goes on there like that, and that's where our cable will hopefully go. We'll see. It's at an angle, so it might be a bit tricky. So yeah, being able to make do with what you have out here is kind of yeah. And parts just take so long to get in. That's not the right part. That's not the- There, that's the one we need. Right, we're making progress. This is cool. I really thought that this was going to end up going in the bin, but not in the bin, but it would be a parts machine. But I'm starting to feel slightly hopeful that we can save it, which would be awesome. That would be so cool. Right, that's good. High five, team. Put the clutch back on now. The spark plug could probably do the clean as well. I'm gonna pull it over. It's that way. Should have actually checked. Yeah, that's right. So that's we'll go by witness marks, and the witness marks. I don't actually think it matters. That's the direction it says it spins, so we'll just go with that. Yeah, this isn't actually a Honda clutch, but it's identical to the Honda clutch that came off. So many of these machines, they aren't like there's nothing. Oh no, we're losing fuel. There's nothing unique about any of these machines. There's nothing unique really about any of the machines. Like, yes, some of them have kind of like, it might be still put injection on the 500i, low pressure fuel injection. Like, that's not unique. It's just slightly different. But so there's semi-generic parts like these clutches that fit on a little bit of the fuel will just have to leak out, whatever. Oh, it stinks. We can't do that. So oftentimes don't think automatically that because you haven't got the Honda GX25 uh, clutch for a 2007 to 2015 model that you're not going to be able to retrofit a different make um, carburetor on, because oftentimes you can make them work and they're literally like for like. I'm going to put a lot on. I know it's excessive, but that is on, goes on, goes on there. That's still with me. Anyone awake? Still 24 of you. You guys are hilarious. Keep the brain working. No direction for me. Done some sketchy stuff removing harmonic balances. Yeah. Full time from, yeah, exactly. How hot is it? No, today it's really lovely. It's 26 at the moment. Hit those shiny spots on the clutch. Do this with sandpaper. Yeah, absolutely you can do. Like, to be honest, I will clean the clutch drum out. I will clean that out for sure. That's again, I don't recommend doing this, and we can certainly snap flywheel fins off, but hopefully need to get it into the little hole on the clutch. Got it. Yeah, this is where you can so easily snap these fins, and it is really silly. Again, I don't recommend you do it. I don't like doing it at all, but I'm going to do it. Good. And I'll talk that up off camera. Now we need to put on and retrofit that handle that's not designed for it, but we'll see if we can make it work. Okay. Give us a little bit of space. So that so okay, so that's all good. Carby's on, that's fine. Let's yeah, let's just see what happens when we I'll take the I want to take give us one sec, guys. Okay, this is gonna have to come up and off. So swap machines out. This is from a totally different machine, but again, most of like the handles and the wiring is all very very similar across the board. There are nuances. In this case, there is a slight difference, but I'm convinced that we'll be able to make this work. So we just need to take this front cover off. Someone said something. What are you guys talking about? At least get the blood off them. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. You should keep this live. You'll get tons of views. Thanks, Kenny. DNA included, no extra charge. A signed repair. Centuries from now, we'll know. Yeah. Oh, you guys are terrible. Right, we're going to take this cowling off of this Morrison. This is a two-stroke. Actually, they use this same concept. So this one's sold by Morrison. It's sold by what's the other brand called? I can't remember. Anyway, two or three different brands use this, and it's actually an incredible power head. It's a copy, I think, of possibly an Echo. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But it's just it starts, it runs, and it just does a great job at doing so. And I really do like it. However, it's not going to come off. However, the Honda's got more value. Even we're going to be able to get this off. Hopefully, we can. Goodness. There we go. It's in frame. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, any of those, Ken. I'm really not sure. Gosh, these aren't coming out. I really like to use the scrunch on these because I haven't got it out here. I'm not running back in, but you just get good leverage on them. Oh, goodness me. Oh, well, I don't know if that's going to come out, actually. Don't think this will come out. Goodness gracious me. Let's get an impact. So, I think I'll do it up on the bench. It should be okay. Bigger hammer. No, well, there's a few reasons why. At the moment, so that my audience is US based, and most of them it's like 2 a.m. So I expected maybe 10 people to come in, maybe. But it's actually been really good. And of course, none of these are going to fit, are they? No, that's just going to spin. I don't think they're going to work, but we'll try. If something breaks, it's okay. I don't mind too much. Emma. And also, my channel's only small. I haven't got the viewers that. Let's try it. It probably won't work, but we'll try this. So left to loosen. I really would prefer it on the floor, but we'll see. I have a feeling it's just going to spin. Yeah, I think it's going to spin right on me. Try a smaller one. Okay, let's try this. No. Oh, I got it. Nice. Mm. I'm not a fan of these bits, to be honest. I don't think they're any good. They always bend on me, and of course they make them soft because they're being impacted on. But and this is meant to be a decent set, the acceptable set. They're rubbish. I could probably machine my own and make them a little bit harder. Mm, I got it too. We'll try these. So I want to get. Sweet, got them all. I want to see what's under here regarding the coil setup. So we can take these wires off and put these on the other machine. Pope, ha, that's the brand. Morrison and Pope have both rebranded these. That's crazy. I've not seen it like this before. Anyway, out you come. It might be clipped in place. I think it could be. Yeah, I think these connectors might actually be clipped on. So let's take the coil off completely. Yeah, normally I'm pretty sure they stay on the housing on this model, but there's always going to be some variation in that. It's really tight. Got it. Coil off. Take that off. Cool. So we don't need that. We have our own. We'll keep that piece of metal. Yeah. So I think these. Can you guys see? No. What do you lack in numbers? You make up for in quality. Awesome. Yeah. This is this is on completely uneven surface. If I push my foot down on one of these wheels, the whole lift the whole lift moves because it's not on if it was on an uneven if it was on an even surface, it'd be so much more stable. But the higher you go, of course, the less stable it is. But no, it's been absolutely fantastic. There we go. So coil is off. We do need this part. Now, one of these has to go to ground. This is what I love. I just pump it up. So this is probably already a foot higher than a standard lift. And again, which wheel is uneven? Oh, it's this back wheel right here. Yeah, the back wheel's uneven. We're on brick, so it's never going to be perfect here, but much better to have it on concrete. This needs to go onto here, like so. Let's put. Yeah, this is just great. Like I can work at this height. It's absolutely incredible. We don't need that. I don't know what I did with those bolts. Oh, here they are on the little magnet strip that I added. You guys still in the frame? I know. There you go. In fact, I might even make it just slightly higher. Make it easier for you guys to see. How's that? Oh yeah, that's better. Because I'm going to be working this way next. You need the Allen head. And I've got a bunch of straps that we can put on as well to hold this all together. For now, I think I'll make do. He says, you watch, it's going to go flying. Nice. So this is the shaft and everything off of. You know what? That's the wrong way out. Yeah, doesn't matter for testing. That one, and then two more. Yeah, I need to get in the habit of putting my screwdrivers back so I have a tidy workbench over there. Oh, don't lose that. Okay, we're pretty much there. Then we'll go and get it. We'll try and get it rewired. I'll have to cut one of these wires off and make it go to ground. That's going to be going to the carburetor, which is going to be perfect. And job's done. Oh no, we need to get a tank vent. A tank. Actually, it does need a tank vent too. It's going to leak everywhere, but oh well, whatever. Sweet. There we go. Just a little way. And we'll go and get the kit out that Stella, my dear friend Stella, the lawnmower lady, convinced me to buy, which actually, no, she didn't convince me to buy this kit, but it was one that I really liked, like the reviews on. So one of these needs to go, the red needs to go to hot. And the black one I'm going to cut, put another thing on there, and we're going to screw it to ground. Can you go somewhere like that? We'll have to figure it out. Let's just put this on and we'll see how this. Oh, it's not right, is it? That's annoying. All right, I'll do that after. Let's go and cut that wire, and we'll recrimp it with an eyelet. You come with me. Love a good, yeah, it really is going to be a mongrel machine. But that's cool. I like the challenge. Yeah, it's got bits from all different machines, but actually, if it runs good, I'm going to be so happy. There you go. You can kind of see the lift from the side there, and the bricks are all uneven. So, but that's fine. I don't mind. Doesn't bother me. We need wire crimping tool. This one. This is lovely, incredibly expensive, but it will last a lifetime, and it crimps better than the factory. Crimps as good as factory. No, the PV250, Kenny, no carbon. That's going to be in Monday or Tuesday. Can't wait to see if that resolves the issue. So we will cut off. I'm going to purposely leave a lot of excess. You know what? I might actually just have it going to that ground rather than. I think it was that ground originally. I wish I could remember. I had that because I think that was holding it to ground. I could be wrong. Now, stuff it. Let's just have one ground. Let's have the ground going. No, it's probably best to have the ground going up there. Yeah, so we'll cut. I'll bring you in once we cut it. Cut that off. We will. It's like take that out. Let's go get an eyelet and I'll show you. So I have. I don't have a link, Kenny, but I can't even remember what it's called. Japanese made, and you've got different jaws for different. It literally crimps beautifully. I'll show you. But I have some ones that came with the kit, and I have some Chinese ones, and the Chinese ones are never as good. Up here, I have all the different crimps that I use. We need these. Yeah, so true, Stella. It is absolutely a game changer. And because I don't have a little plastic on there, we'll use some heat shrink. So essentially, for those that don't know, it's really simple. You've got a switch between a circuit, and anytime you move the switch, it'll either send the spark to ground, which is what we're installing now, or if the switch is closed, it jumps the gap. If I bring you right over, you'll see, honestly, it's so lovely and satisfying too. Let's just make sure the crimp, and I have to go back. Oh, no, actually, I've got it there. So let's just make sure the crimp actually fits first. So I'm going to try and crimp it to the coil round. Oh, maybe it was that. Oh, it was that. It's not that one, it's that one there. Yeah, I'll just make sure that it's not too big. Yeah, so it fits really nice. So what we'll do is take our wire. We don't need this much heat shrink. I'm only going to use a small amount of heat shrink for the simple fact that heat shrink seems to make the wire really hard to flex. So I'm going to put just enough on there so that it doesn't cause an issue. So that goes on first. And I shouldn't be doing it with dirty hands trying to make a nice connection, but anyway. Then you take your crimper. I can't remember if it's a 2.5 or not. You can measure them. 2.5. So yeah, so it goes in here. Gosh, it's been a while since I've done this. And we'll put it there to start. So you hold it in the jaws, you can see, and put the wire through. up to that point with a bit of a squeeze. I have to give it a hard squeeze. I'll have a quick look at it. Oh, it's stuck. I'll do one more little bit, a little bit further down, and then I'll show you. There we go. Squeeze. So that's the first one, and then we'll do the strain relief. So, can you see it? And the strain relief is the same. But the strain relief, you only want to do it so it just puts a bit of pressure on the wire. You don't want to squeeze it down really hard. And sometimes I actually prefer to go on one step up. And he says, squeeze them in. Yeah, these are quite thick wire. Let's go to one up. And then just real, and sometimes it just goes bang, and I probably happened this time, but yeah, so I'm gonna do really, sorry, can you see? Really gentle, like that. So it's not digging into here. It's not digging into the cable. It's just putting light pressure on. I'll go a tiny bit more, and that's it. That's it. That's all we'll do. And that is a perfect crimp. And then I'll just put a little bit of heat shrink tubing over it. It's not a good idea to use a lighter next to the engine, but who cares? It's fine. And I'll just make sure I'm not going over where that bolt's going to sit. Good ground. I'll have to find out what this crimp set is because it's so good. Yes, it's not the fastest and this, but it's the most precise, and you're going to get really lovely crimps from it. Perfect. Well done. I don't know how with the Honda cowling, once it's gone on, how it's going to fit, but let's put that back. We'll just check that we've got good. Make sure that we're not touching the heat shrink, which we're not. And then I'll check air gap. Just lightly for now, because I'm going to have to. I think these wires probably go something like that, but I'll have to put the cowling on and see. Right, let's go make another cup of coffee. I don't know if anyone's hanging in with me. You are, you guys. You guys hanging in there. Love you. Love you. Right, what are you, what are you cheeky? I'm not going to say it. Don't want to possibly get my channel have problems. So I've been in the market for a really good hand soap. This sounds so pathetic, right? But I've tried so many different types, and I finally settled on the cheapest one of in Australia. It's called Super Cheap. The shop is called Super Cheap, and it's so good. And I even spoke to a friend yesterday, Damien, who's a professional mechanic at the steel shop. I said to him, I was like, "What hand wash do you use? I can't find one I like." And he said, "Oh, it's it's worth, you know." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not spending money for worth. It's really expensive." But he, I said, "I'm using the super cheap one." I said, Absolutely fantastic." And he was like, "Yeah, actually, it's really good stuff. He's used it in the past." Yeah, Stella uses lava soap. Right, what were you guys winding me up about? Hey, Stella, blah 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 blah. Frankenstrimmer, hello Mick, carby replacement. On occasion, my Pope would act as a TENS machine for my right arm, just zapping you off the plug, right? Cat- Catatonic water. Okay, Tom, if I can stay up for your live, you can reciprocate, mate. Yeah, what's the time? 3:41. Yes, Kenny. This is. I just wish that we could do this with you guys chatting, and I'm not the one that's holding the conversation the whole time. I'd much prefer if you guys held the conversation and just enjoyed it. Hey, TGMF. Yes, I've got it up and running. So it runs good. It just needs everything else put on it, and we've just done a little bit of rewiring. Yes, Kenny, I want orange Permatex. I know Klaus has tried it. Now, what were you saying about lovely crimper? And then he uses an effing big. No, Stella. Man, this is a Japanese lighter. I don't know where it's gone now. It's a Japanese lighter. It's lovely. It's really nice. Headphones over. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so we're nearly there. We just need to. This is the part where you can put all these things together, but it doesn't mean that it's actually going to, like, the wire's going to fit. Is this going to work? Does the kill switch actually work on that other handle? Does the clutch actually sit far enough into the housing so that the clutch drum can get it? Oh, hey, hubby. Fed my chooks. Oh, awesome. And then found your look. Fed my chooks. And you're saying morning. So you're obviously from the UK, and yet you call them chooks. That's funny. As long as I make it to the diner at 7 a.m. Yeah, you don't sleep much. You're fine. But I just wish that we could have you guys up here. That would be so much better. We'll have to figure it out for next. To be honest, I probably won't do another live stream for another year. But right, yeah, we just got to busting it up now. Change the head over, and then see if it actually works. I haven't had any lunch yet. I'm really hungry. Yeah, 7:45 a.m. in the UK. Tom, yeah, I have several videos on that on the chickens. Yes, mate. UK, grim and grey here. Been calling them chooks for over 30 years. Yeah, I. It's funny. I do miss England. There's so many beautiful things about England. Yeah, I got lots of car videos. Was there a? Uh, was that something that Tom Kenyon asked, and they've retracted it? That's all good. Yeah, there's loads of car videos you can watch, and it's incredible how many bits you can take off one car and put onto another. Like I did today. I took a whole bunch of. I took the body off one car, put it onto another. Took a needle out of one car, put it onto another, and these are totally different brands. One's a Wool one's a Ruixing. Um, a lot of them are interchangeable. Sometimes they're not, but a lot of the stuff is interchangeable. As I said, I don't really recommend it. It'd be much better to if you have to deal with it, buy the replacement carb if you need all parts that fit because it's going to be quicker. But yeah, in this case, it's 3 weeks plus, and everything. So, do you know what? I've got to tell you. So, I've got myself a new compression tester. Just really quickly, I'm smitten about. Can you say smitten? I'm in love with. Right. So, I bought myself a compression tester about 6, 7 years ago. So many years ago, and it's worked flawlessly. But the one that I've got, um, it started leaking down. So I pull it over, and the needle would just drop back down. So one of the check valves somewhere wasn't working. I checked all of the ones I could get access to, except behind the dial. So I took it apart, and I had a few problems. And I probably could get it all back together, but I'm a bit concerned that I might have affected the springs. I was like, I'm just going to buy a new compression tester. I've had it for years. I'm going to go Mighty Vac. I was like, I'm going to go for a name brand, and then looked at the Mighty Vac, and it's like 200 Australian dollars. You guys pay. Stella got one, 75 US dollars. I would have to pay 200 Australian, 75 US. What you paying is going to be about 115 Australian. So we're paying nearly twice the amount, a little bit under, to what you guys pay. Of course, whatever. And there's certain things that I don't like about it. So the adapters you put on don't have the Schrader valve in the end of them. So a video that we're working on, Stella and I. So you have to do that, otherwise you get lower readings. And so I was like, oh well, I'm not going to go for that. And also, I don't want multiple tubes. I just want one tube with little adapters on in the end. And then, so I was like, oh, that's out of the way. So then I thought OTC. I'll go with OTC, the motorbike variation or version. But that one had some really bad reviews, and again, it had multiple hoses. I just want one hose that connects right into the thing. And then, so the same problem after problem came around. I was like, I just want my old one. So I went to find my old one, and they'd changed. The design had changed. The gauge had changed, and it was a different color, and it was a different. Instead of being PSI on the outside, it was a real faint blue line. I mean, it's just irritating. So I managed to track down a brand new original of this. And there's nothing special about this. This is just tin chrome. In fact, they haven't even gone to the extent of bothering to have the manufacturer put tin chrome on the gauge. That's how little effort they put into it. But this is so accurate. I've used it for six, at least, if not longer, 7 years. It's got one hose, and I've got all the different adapters. I had to machine a couple. That's going to be in the video on the lathe in a couple of weeks or in a week's time. I've machined the adapters to fit, and it's just everything. Even the gauge. I like how the PSI is on the outside, and it's all silly stuff. There's nothing special about this. Don't feel like, oh, because you haven't got it. This is worse than Mighty Vac in terms of quality, I'm sure. But it's been so consistent for me. It's been so good. It's got everything I want, how I want it. And it's like you don't realize what you've got until it's gone. You just think, oh well, it's you know, it just I'd never treat it with any reverence. It was just like, you know, whatever, just a generic piece of rubbish. I'll upgrade. But actually, any of the upgrades I did look at doing weren't quite right for me. So anyway, let's go outside and finish this repair. Why did we come back in here? I don't remember. So, moral of the story is if you like something and it works really well, then stick with it. Look skookum. What does that mean? I haven't heard that saying before. Okay, so we can put all of this back. Let's get the cowling on next, and we'll just see how it sits. We'll see that, make sure it does sit correctly. Then twist your arms. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, the Mighty Vac, if I was in America, bloody brilliant. I'd get it. But I'm not paying twice the amount. And then having to modify the adapters, which we're gonna do. That's totally fine. Like, that's good. But I just thought, whatever. And also something really silly, that little box, the size of that box fits perfectly. I've kind of surrounded and made my toolbox to fit everything really nicely. And if I got a different one, all of them are much bigger, except unless I bought like a Stens one like Kenny. I know you like Stens. So, and then the Stens one, you have a shorter hose. It's just preference, and there's nothing special, there's nothing good about that king chrome other than I like it. That's the only thing that's good about it is I like it. Certainly not the best brand, but it's a good brand out here. And Stella, this is a lighter. It's a Japanese pipe lighter by, I can't remember what, I am Corona, old boy, telling me it's a cheap bit lighter. Psh. Right, let's get the cover on, then we'll go test it shortly. Cheap lighter. So we'll probably have to do a fair bit of modifying. Oh, no, we don't. Look at that. Oh, no, we do have to take the carby off because you know what we might do? So this carburetor, I'll show it to you, has a threaded insert, and this bit is threaded too. However, this piece doesn't spin, so it's only threaded to accept the nut. So I'm going to get a drill and we'll cut those threads out. Come with me. Skookum is an ASA that means strong, powerful, large, impressive, or excellent. It originates from Sinnoh jargon, a pigeon language. Cool. Drill out the threads. Yes, that's what we're going to do. But we do need to replace that nut, which I think I've got a spare one over there. Oh, okay. AVE. I've heard of that channel before. I have heard of that channel before. Oh, what are we doing in here? Drill bits. Yeah, you see, this is what I mean. It's so silly, but it just fits perfectly with all my other tools. Drill bits, drill bits, drill bits. And we'll take them all out. Yes, exactly, Kenny. We're going to have one nut one side and one nut the other. You watch, it's gonna grab, it's gonna spin my arm around, and I'm just gonna get hurt live on camera. Bit like James Connoy, he didn't get hurt, but when he had that glove, Kenny, when you went live with him, the glove went around the Dremel. That's too small. So there. We'll go 5.5. It'll probably will grab and spin and catch, but we'll see. No, it didn't. Lovely. I just want the. Can you see? Yeah. I just want the throttle cable to be able to slide in and out and not have to engage. Just 6. Yeah, it's grabbing. I am slightly concerned that that clutch isn't going to work, but we'll figure it out. If not, I'll try a different clutch. There we go. That should work. Yeah. So now I can slide that back and forth, and with a simple second nut, this one might even work. I can then adjust the tension easily. No, that's an M5 and it's on an M6. Let's go get an M6 nut. Take you in. And again, you got some people are probably watching like, oh, this is such a waste of time, and I get it. It's not for everyone, but it's just work with what I've got. And the other thing for me is I really want to enjoy what I do. And oftentimes I'll do repairs that I'm working on a machine. I've been working 15 or so hours on it for this customer. And I've lost, I'd say lost. I haven't charged anywhere near what I should have charged, but you can't justify it. But for me, I want to get to the bottom of it and find exactly why this blower is having the issues it has. And the only thing we've put it down to now is it needs a new carburetor. And I've never seen it before. None of the mechanics I've spoken to, Kenny, Stella, bunch of guys from the steel shop, my friend trains, like we've all got kind of punches, and anytime I try and fix it, it doesn't actually solve the issue. So yeah, so this is a sort of example. I like this challenge. I like having fun, and yeah, it's fun. I'm not on the workshop rate. I really just want to tip this out. There we go. Oh, that's the other one for yes. We need that. That was the one that was missing. Yeah, supposed to cover. You see an M8 in there? Yeah, I know. These are my spares, and I just if there's nothing, I've got all different stuff in here. I've even got that's like a turning blanks thing, but oftentimes I'll cut bolts and I'll machine things out of bolts that I need the metal for. And of course, we're looking for a really thin profile. So right, right, spin you around. I'm gonna get this out. You guys can have a top-down view. We are looking for. Oh goodness! Let's tidy up real quick. Yeah, so this punch set, when I made that, I don't know if some of you guys obviously weren't here, but I needed to make a new intake manifold gasket because I didn't have it and whatever. And I was talking about how it's just really useful to be able to make your own gaskets, and I went through the process of it. But as cool as this set is, it's certainly not worth the money that they charge. And it's like they're really proud of it being made in England, but there's nothing special about. They're not sharp. I had to sharpen them all, and yeah, so I actually don't recommend it. But the ones I do recommend, I really like, are these. And I have to find a link somehow. And I just made the case myself. This is just a bunch of material that I cut slots into, but it works really well. I really like it. Okay. So help me find it. An M6, I believe. No, no. You see something like that? That could very well be it. Let's go test this one. With Wally, yeah. And I think it's a number 10 that goes on a number 6. But I'm going to need 2 of them. Good. Okay, let's go. Oh, wait. Looks like it's time to organise them up. Oh, wait. Is this the guy that's always ringing the streamers and work perfectly for you and comes back a few weeks? That is the guy, the blower. That's the blower we've been having issues for. I have done everything and anything you could possibly imagine with that blower, stripping it down to its bare nuts and bolts, putting it all back together, checking the carburetor, every single aspect of the carburetor, and I can't figure it out. So we've gone with new OEM, and we will see if I can come to be able to figure it out. Who knows? You know what? That cable is too long. Oh no, wait. My apologies. My bad. You know, maybe we don't even need that second nut. The cable's just a bit long for it, so we might be able to get away without. Excuse hands. I'll move them out of the way in a minute once I've got this figured out. Yeah, you see that? No, it's too tight still, so we've got to give it a little bit of extra. Yeah, I'll put a second nut on it. So now we actuate the trigger and it works as it should. There is a lot of tension on this though, because of course it's not designed for it, so we'll have to just make a few slight adjustments. Right, can you see? You want to zoom in a little bit? There you go. So that goes on there. A second. Oh, let's just see if it fits first. And yeah, it does. Sweet. It goes on. Hopefully the nuts not going to get in the way. Nah, that's good. Yeah, I'm slightly concerned about that clutch, only because I haven't checked it. To see that it actually does work, you know? A lot of slack in there, so let's take it back a little bit. Again, excuse fingers, it's really hard to show you this on camera. But once I've got it, I'll show you exactly what we've just done. Okay. Still a little bit loose. We're going to full throttle. Yeah, we are. We're reaching full throttle. Actually, that's full throttle. No, we need to go a little bit tighter. Okay, there. We'll tighten this one up. And we're now at full throttle. Great. Okay. That goes on there. You go down. Yeah, just the position of all of this is just not ideal because obviously it's not designed for it. But anyway, try and make it do. Make it do? Make do. Pliers. Do I get pliers? There we go. Sweet. Okay, so that's on. That's on. No telling whether the cover will actually fit, but let's at least get most of this put back together. It's so funny because I tease my friends like Stella and Kenny all the time about having so much junk lying around, and then now look who's the one that's got junk lying around. Here it is. See? Found it. Yeah, this carburetor is a real pain. I remember this from last time. Real nuisance to get in there. There we go. Now I just need to get the hardware on. If I can get these on without losing things. Catch. Got it. And the other one. And then we'll go see if it runs. Well, I think it's going to run. I'm just a bit concerned. It's you guys still with me? Oh, look at you guys holding fort. Can you cut off a bit of the outer cable on the other end to get? Yes. One of the easiest things to fix yet. Shop charge. Yeah, so true. You should get into pressure washers with triple pumps. Tom, what I really want to get into is I don't. I want to get away from all of these small engines. I want to do some larger engines, but I haven't got the space for it. So yeah, I'm pestering a guy at the shop, the steel shop. Keep telling him, let me come over and let me help you. I want to learn from you with some of these. He comes across some really interesting stuff, mostly motorbikes, to be honest, like Harleys and stuff. But you know what? This did actually come. I might. Yeah, that kind of protects. That should really go on. Hmm. You guys want to come have a look? Anyway, I want to get away eventually from these smaller engines and just do something else that's a new challenge, And that's not to say that these small engines aren't a challenge. There's so many little things that go wrong with them. They can be a real, especially the two-stroke. However, um, yeah, not really in. So what did you? Oh, the water pumps and stuff. Yeah, not. I try and to a certain extent work on things that I enjoy. I'm in that position now, like with the YouTube that I do. I can kind of choose what I want to repair to a certain extent. Um, so let's see. Has Kenny fallen asleep on us? I haven't heard from Kenny in a while. I just don't see that as being right, but no, not convinced that's right. I think that's meant to go the other way, but it looks like it should go that way. Someone have a look in the IPL for me. I'm pretty certain that this should go the other way. Not happy with that. But we're pretty much there. We're pretty much ready to rock and roll. I'm not convinced by that either. No, not convinced. I feel like there should be like a little standoff or something, but we'll forego it. We'll forego it for now. cover next. Then we'll have to change the head out. We'll have to put a line trim ahead so we can get some load on it. Okay, sweet. How is this going to fit, if at all? This is where my concern comes in. Look at that! Yes, yes. Oh, you know what? I didn't check the edge of the air gaps on the coil, but I did only remove one, so for now we'll leave well alone. And then the front cover and the air filter cover. This machine has really been a fun challenge to see if I can actually get it. What's going on here? Yeah, there we go. A fun challenge to see if I can get it back up and running. That's really cool. Sweet. What we should do before we do anything, let's see if it tab end goes where the breather tube comes in. Yeah, that's it. Half asleep. Oh, that's funny. Let's just see if it starts and whether we get. This could be absolutely horrific. It could blow to smithereens, to be completely honest with you. I have no idea. I don't even know if the shaft is broken on this. So con, start. I wonder if we'll have to feed it some fuel again. See if we can get running. Hopefully not. Lovely. Does need a tune. And our kill switch works too, which we band angled. Right. Isn't that lovely? Ah, didn't have any issues there. That's great. Really great. Where's my cup of coffee gone? So the last thing we need to do before we spruce it up and make it look beautiful, I seriously might consider painting that grey because that's how the original one came. Cleaning this up, putting a new thing on there. Let's put the head on that end. What did you said? Yeah, the head wasn't spinning at idle, but it did spin when I pulled the trigger. I'm not going to run it here again because it's noisy. Uh, Laughing, mate. Great, thanks, mate. Yeah, clutch was engaging. Yeah, Stella, clutch was engaging, which is good. So we need to take this head off. I might take the whole thing off this one. We can put the other one back on, even though it's really wrecked. I don't really like it. Pardon me. Yeah, let's we could leave this one on, couldn't we? It doesn't matter. No, stuff it. Let's just take the whole thing off. So we need to take the large Allen off, and then that one is the lock. In fact, that's not even correct. They've got this wrong, the wrong way around. So we need screwdriver. This, let's lower you down. I can't even see any comments now. There you go. This is not a grease port. That's the grease port. This is an alignment screw, and it wasn't all the way in. So that needs to come off, or at least loosen up. Now we need to take the hex out, and that's probably the second to largest one. You want to see the whole thing before anyone starts logging off? The little Franken Honda. Ta-da. Then we'll quickly, this should only take 5 minutes, and then we'll go out and we'll try it. Is this too small? That's the one. Nope, that's not the one I need. This is the one I need. This should now slide off. Ah, that's a good point. So these all have different attachment styles. This is a spline style. Sometimes they're a square style. So if we take the Honda off, it probably, to be fair, it probably won't match, but that's fine. We can always just swap the heads over. The Honda one's down there. So if we repeat the same process, it's the smaller one. The alignment one comes out. He says, should come out. Okay, we'll go upper size, guns blazing. Okay, let's see if this will break it loose. There we go. That one can come out. And then this one. And then the head slides, that might need to be loosened up as well. They look rusty. Oh no, they're okay. Good. Is it a spline or is it a totally different style? Oh, what a plonker. The shaft is here. I took it off the other day. Ah, and they're the same. You see, I swear all these parts a lot of the time are interchangeable. And in fact, look at the size. No, that probably won't work. Um, the size of this shaft is so much thicker than this Honda one. So, just because it's Honda doesn't mean it's actually better than, say, a Morrison, which is a much less known brand. Is what it is. Right. So in that case, take that off. So I've got a bit of space. We'll put the other one back on, and we probably will re-grease it and all of that. Let's just see, actually, out of interest. I'm sure it won't work, but no, it doesn't even go in. Isn't that kind of ironic? You'd think that Honda would be better built than a. Anyway, I digress. So where is the other head? What do I do with it? I literally just pulled it off here. Okay, here it is. I could do with a cleanup, but oh, sorry. Could do with a cleanup, but I'm not going to do that just yet. So we can realign it correctly. Tighten that down. Put the head on it. A head, hopefully. I'll have one that fits. That's your alignment, and then the last one is, of course, good. It's going to be way too small. All right, what do you guys reckon here? That is. Do you think that's a 19? Do you think that's larger than a 19? I think that's probably a 19. Thanks, fella. Are you still there, mate? Kenny's still there? Right. We're in the last phase. You guys been holding fort all the time. We also need a punch. I've got a little tool that I found that came with one of the kits on the steel trimmers, and this allows you to take heads on and off. So that can go on there. Maybe it's 21. It's a 19. Yeah. So this is a reverse thread. Right to loosen. Now we just need to put the trimmer head on. And again, the trimmer heads are all different as well. So we might take the Honda one off, and the Honda one might not fit that thread pitch. It really just depends. So here, we have to take this off. We'll just see if this fits. So I don't even think that pin is small enough to go in there. It's not. So let's, and even then, this spline doesn't always fit every head. So it is a little bit frustrating when you try and juggle them. Let's see if I've got one off already. You can come and have a look. This is my spares area on my machines that are all kind of going to be YouTube project videos at some point. See, that's a still, that's not going to fit. That might. I don't even know if it works, but it might fit. Let's try it. I don't like it though. I'd really prefer a black one, but hey, it is what it is. This might be, again, it might be totally the wrong thread too. Uh, so it was left. Ah, there you go. A little blessing from God. It works. All right, let's go out and test it. We might have to go and tune it, but let's go. Actually, how long's the line? Yeah, that'll be fine. I still need to put a guard on here, but just so you guys can enjoy it.